All right, so I am Clayton Krueger, and I am with Forelli's Pizza. I'm the Director of Marketing for Forelli's Pizza. I've been in this current role for about the last 12 years. I started with Forelli's Pizza at the age of 16 as a dishwasher, put myself through college. Fate led me back to the company in 2007, and I've been in this role ever since. If you don't know about Forelli's Pizza, we are located in Washington State. We have 8 pizzeria units and an Irish pub, and we were named Independent Pizzeria of the Year by Pizza Today in 2006, and ever since then we've been coming down not only in a learning capacity, but also in a presentation and speaking capacity. So we're very fortunate to come here and be able to share what it is that we do and what we know, and we don't claim to know everything, so that's why we come here and we learn as well. This show is incredible for networking and meeting people and learning new things. Sorry about that feedback. If the guy comes in, I'll have him tone that down. So what we're here to talk about today is video production, all right? And so obviously, if you're here, you've recognized that this is kind of a big deal. It's kind of an important topic, one that we need to be looking at as restaurant operators. I'm going to show you why. Because if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000. And actually, there was a study done in 2017 that showed that a video is worth 1.84 million words. All right, and that's for a 1-minute video. Here's some more reasons. Online video will account for 80% of all online traffic this year. 55% of people watch videos online every day. Facebook generates an average of 8 billion video views daily, and Facebook videos have been 135% greater organic reach than photo posts. So if you post a video instead of a photo, you're going to have a much stronger organic reach that you don't have to pay for through boosting and targeted posts. 1,200% more shares than pics as well. 80% of viewers recall a video they viewed in the past 30 days. And the top 3 most effective video types are testimonials, tutorials, and demonstrations. Mobile video consumption is rising at 100% annually, and 92% of mobile video viewers share the videos with others. Before you guys get really carried away with taking pictures and everything of the slides, let me just tell you that if you want them, I'm happy to email you this slide deck. So you just need to simply email me. I'll email you back the slides if that saves you. If you want to take pictures of the slides, go for it. Video and email leads to 200 to 300% increase in click-through. And if you put video in the email subject, it can increase the open rate by 19%. That's a pretty big deal when you consider the fact that if you get a 20% open rate on an email, you've done pretty good. So if you can boost that by 19%, you're doing even better. But if you're going to put the word video in the subject of an email, it's probably a good idea to have a video in the actual body of the email as well. That's just a free tip. All right. Having video on your homepage can increase conversion by 80%. 80%. Why is that important? Well, it's important because the people who are looking for your restaurant and who are searching and find your homepage, these are people that are ready to eat. These are people that are going to convert to one of the pizzerias that they have searched in the last hour. They're going to convert. So 90% of people who have searched for a pizzeria in the last hour, or restaurant in general, are going to convert. So if they land on your page and you've got video, there's an 80% increase in the chance that they're going to convert to your restaurant. Kind of a big deal. All right, so some people in this room might be thinking, all right, but is it like this? Is it complicated? There's all these screens and, don't you need a special degree or whatever? And the answer is that it kind of used to be that way. And so we've kind of trained to thinking that. Like, didn't you have to go to art school and get a special degree to do video production and yada, yada? Yeah, that used to kind of be the case. It's not anymore. And it's not anymore because we've all got, these things and the technology, the video editing software has become very user-friendly. It's also become very low cost. And it's very easy because of the quality of cameras and the inexpensiveness of cameras these days, for us all to access that equipment to be able to shoot high-quality video. But there's some tips and tricks to doing that, and that's what I'm hoping to share with you today. Just, all cards facing up, we're not like the kings of producing video. We're still trying to figure out how to produce more video because we know it's important too. So again, just sharing with you guys what we've learned. My hope is that this will push some of you that have yet to kind of really take the leap into it. And for those of you that have, maybe I can provide a couple of additional tips and tricks that we've learned along the way. All right? So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about filming, audio, editing, and publishing. All right? So filming. I'm also going to show a couple of videos along the way that hopefully highlight a couple examples. Again, though, I'm going to have to drag back and forth, so just bear with me. You're going to need a camera, an HD camera. And so, and more of them if you want to kind of have multiple angles. Types of HD cameras, DSLR cameras are great. They're what we use. It stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex. If you think about like just a nice photography camera with a good lens on it, that's a DSLR camera, okay? Canon, Nikon, Sony are some really common DSLR brands. What's really great about DSLR cameras is that you can attach different lenses. And so, you know, you can get different types of shots, different types of perspectives. Very great for food photography as well. So for menu pictures, definitely cross-utilize this type of a camera. And they shoot beautiful footage, and they have high-capacity memory cards that you can stick in them so that you can store a lot of footage on the camera. So they're a great investment if you're just getting into video. We, for what it's worth, shoot with a Canon T5i, Rebel T5i. It's not a full frame. You know, if you're really into photography and you kind of start to hear some of this jargon, like you might ask, well, you don't shoot with a 70D or something like that? No, we shoot with a Rebel T5i. We have two of them, and we also have a GoPro, and we also have cell phones. So that's what we have. There's high quality point and click cameras that you'd expect to see at like your average, you know, retailer. These can be great with regards to being able to film HD, but they can also be limiting just due to the nature of not being able to attach different lenses for depth of field and things of that nature. GoPros are relatively inexpensive and relatively high quality filming. What's really great about GoPros is that they have, aside from their portability, is that they have just like this incredible focal range. And so you don't have to kind of worry about what's in focus, like if I'm filming you and you're out of focus back there, if I'm filming you making, you know, just there's everything's in focus. That's what's really cool about a GoPro. But they're also very limiting. You know, they're really great for point of view. So like, let's say you are making a pizza and you've got so we've got a camera filming me making a pizza, but I'm maybe wearing the GoPro of me making the pizza. And so you could get a point of view perspective of the pizza, and then you could have a different shots that you're incorporating of me making that pizza. That'd be a good application for a GoPro. The other thing I wrote there is that it's capable of shooting in 4K. I just want to mention that that's only really important if you're going to be displaying this video on a 4K monitor. So anytime you're ever thinking about, oh, does it shoot 4K or yada, 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 it's like, well, where's it going? Well, chances are it's going onto the internet. Chances are it's Facebook. Chances are it's going to be on someone's phone that they're going to view it on. So does that really matter? No, you know, like just as long as it's 720, 1080, you're going to be fine. I wrote here iPhones and smartphones and tablets. All of us have these, but we're going to get into what the importance is of how you use them. Here's a couple of things here. One is stability. Stability in general, just for all of these mediums, is crucial. This product that I've demonstrated there is called Smooth. It's a handheld gimbal mount that holds cell phones. They make these for GoPros as well, and they just allow you, those gimbals are the motors that are attached to the head of that mounting device, and they are electronic, and so they keep the camera stabilized. So no matter if I'm moving my arm and I wanted to just focus on you, I could move like this, but you'd stay in focus. Sorry for that feedback. And so they're really cool because they can get just incredibly smooth and buttery shots. Additionally, you could consider getting some different attachments. These are all over the internet. They don't cost a lot of money, and there's something you could quickly invest in to maybe get a little bit more depth of field for specific types of shots on your phone. We have never messed with any attachments on our phones or anything like that, but they're out there and might be kind of something fun and inexpensive to experiment with. So here's some tips for quality filming. Separation, like anything else, separation is in the preparation. You've got to consider your shots, the days, the times, the locations, maybe the weather. You know, you've got to consider who your subjects are. Is this someone that's going to be comfortable on camera? Or are they the type of person that might freeze up? You know, how do you deal with that if they are? If you really want them to be someone you have on camera. I'll give an example of, we were shooting in, it was kind of a recruitment film. So we were trying to sort of, for potential employees that would come to our company, show what kind of company we are to work for. And we chose to use some of our best and brightest managers in this film to kind of say, hey, don't take it from us, like let's hear from our people, you know? And this one girl, just awesome. And then I'm like, all right, so what are you gonna say? And we're kind of framing up the shot. and it sounded perfect. I'm like, oh, this is great, can't wait. And I hit, film. And then she says it again, and she just froze. It was something about that camera, the light turning on or something. It was like instantly, it was like game over, different story. And my buddy says to me later when we were reviewing the footage, he goes, just imagine that someone was standing behind the camera, like pointing a gun at her, holding her hostage. That's what that's what it looks like. It was just this fear. So there's tricks you can do to work through that. An example would be you could be filming them without them knowing. Like I could have turned on the camera first and said, all right, let's just talk about what you're going to talk about. And I could have just had her freestyling and thinking the camera wasn't rolling. And then I'd say, okay, ready to shoot? Yeah, well, guess what? We just did. We're done, and then good job. So that's some types of things you can do. But you've got to give thought to all of it. What's the day going to be? What's the time going to be? Is it going to be dark? Do I need extra lighting? All that. We'll get into it. Storyboarding is a great way to do this. You could go online, just Google storyboarding, and this is what, like anyone that's shooting commercials, for example, car manufacturer that's shooting a commercial, they'll have a storyboard of how they want that to go, and that's just these individual frames, oftentimes hand sketched, that just say, okay, we want to get a shot of the car coming around a corner, and then you see the passenger get out, and then you see the emblem. Like these are the different scenes that they want to capture, and they know that they're going to need that. Okay, that's the next shot, that's the next shot, we need to capture these shots. That's a process for you to just know what you want to film, as opposed to just, let's just film today, You got to consider lighting, noise, costumes, if necessary, actor ability, we talked about that. That one's out of place. Stability is crucial, we talked about it. Investing in equipment mounting equipment is important. Things like tripods, those gimbal mounting sticks, different types of mounts, and proper lighting is important. I'll give you an example here in a second, right there. So there's me in the airport the other day, and I just wanted to show an example of what backlighting can do. You can't really see my face too well. You have absolutely no idea what's behind me. And this would be the same if you're trying to shoot a subject. Let's say you're trying to interview the founder of your company, or you are the founder of your company and someone's interviewing you, and you set up next to the front windows because maybe you want to get the cars going by outside, just, hey, we're in a busy part of Brooklyn or wherever you're at, and they're not going to see it because it's blown out. The lights, you're backlit. So you've got to give thought to all of that. Auxiliary light is necessary so natural light is best. That's number one. Let's say you're shooting a pizza, and it's really great if these are the front windows of your establishment. If you've got your pizza near the window, you're letting that natural light cascade through the window, and you're taking the picture from over here at the pizza. It's great to use that type of natural lighting when possible, but that's not always an option. Number one, and sometimes it can be too much light, so you got to be aware of that as well. But if you don't have the ability to use natural light, or in our case, oftentimes we're from Washington State, pissing rain outside, and it's dark and gloomy, that's not going to work either. We need a little bit more light than that. Sometimes auxiliary light is necessary. When we talk about auxiliary lighting, you've got to think diffused lighting. You don't want direct, really bright light bulbs glaring down on whether it's your pizza or a human, especially with glasses, to get that type of glare. You need diffused lighting to where it softens it up. And that's those screens, when you go to a professional photographer, you see those white screens over their lighting. That's the diffuser of the light. That type of diffusion is really inexpensive to purchase on Amazon. You could just order a light diffuser. Oftentimes they come in these discs that roll up into a little bag, and they're cheap and expensive and portable, and you clip them onto whatever you want to clip them onto. Another really inexpensive and pretty useful tool, super portable, is those happy lights. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like if you live in a dungeon and you never see the sun and you have seasonal depression and you get these happy lights, right? Those are really bright diffused lights. And so they turns out, if you're anywhere near a plug-in, you can just plug one of those in, it's diffused, it's bright, and it will illuminate your subject really inexpensively. Also on Amazon, probably $49. Okay? Any questions so far? Great. Okay, so again, avoid backlighting, natural light is best. Here's some things we learned through our years of trying video, which, by the way, we started our video journey, just a quick side story. When I was going to college, I was working for an HVAC commercial construction company, and I was just kind of gritting my teeth and going through it, just allowing me go to college. And I had a buddy who knew that I had just completed my college degree. He was doing a video production company, and he was really struggling. He wasn't able to get the business going the way he wanted. He asked me to come on board and help him out, and so I did, and I got him kind of streamlined with this product and service mix. And we targeted Forelli's as a potential client because they had grown in the time that I had been away, thought they might need some like training videos and orientation videos and things of that nature. Went and presented to them, hey, are you guys ready for this? And they said, yeah, that all looks great, but we really just need you to come back to work for us. And I was like, okay. So that was in 2007. That's when we started doing video, because I then hired my buddy Jake and his company, and we started doing videos then. Those original videos that we did, they weren't great. They weren't great videos, but they were videos nonetheless, and we learned a lot in the process. Over the years, Jake didn't continue to invest in his equipment. He kind of let the business go. And so as a company, we knew that we needed video. We weren't ready yet to do it ourselves, so we had to outsource it. We hired a company called J2G, Just Two Guys Creative, this little blue sticker right there. Interestingly enough, they're based out of Las Vegas and Tacoma, Washington. We have our headquarters in Tacoma, Washington, and we come down to Las Vegas to do the show. So it worked out really well for us. Two young, just whippersnapper geniuses, and these guys are just amazing. But they're expensive. And so what I said to myself is, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to hire these guys. We're going to do a series of videos with these guys over the course of the couple years. But I'm going to soak up as much knowledge as I can from them. I'm going to try to learn as much as I can from these guys, because ultimately I don't want to pay them anymore. And so that's what I did. And so what I'm going to share with you here are just things that I've learned along the way that they do exceptionally well, and that we as operators can incorporate into our films to make them more effective. One of those things is movement. Movement makes the piece. Movement makes the piece. So, and you can accomplish movement in a number of ways, either through multiple camera angles, through panning, a nice smooth pan. You can do it with changing focal points. This was one of my favorite ones that they did on one of our videos. Is they started down, so we're outside on the sidewalk in front of one of our restaurants, and they start down on the curb, focusing in on these flowers that are planted along the street, and then so you're right up tight on the flowers, and then they change the focal point, and all of a sudden the flowers go out of focus, but our beautiful restaurant sign comes into focus in the background that you couldn't see previously. And just that change of depth created some movement in that shot that was really engaging for the viewer. You can do this with zooming. Okay, so movement. Just find ways to incorporate movement. This is great with those handheld gimbals, by the way, because you can keep the camera very steady as you're moving. That's where those come in really handy. And I mean, you see this a ton with action sports, people that are snowboarding and they're carrying those gimbal sticks and they're doing crazy tricks, and they are always still the subject, and it's always smooth, and it's like, man, that's amazing. Okay. Step 2, shoot more content than you need. You probably wouldn't have thought to use that curb shot. I wouldn't have thought to use the curb shot out by the street, filming flowers, looking at our restaurant sign. I wouldn't even have thought to do that. That wouldn't have been something I would have thought of. That just made the piece, because what it did is we started outside the restaurant. We zoom into this sign. Oh, okay, we're at Forelli's. Wow, that's cool. Next shot, you're in the building. Next shot, you're seeing the pizza. So it's this progression of shot. You're taking the viewer through a story. You're inviting them into this journey with you. However short that journey might be, it's got to start somewhere. As operators, and we're all used to acting fast. It's a fast-paced industry. I think there's a natural tendency for us to just want to film pizza or film the subject, the owner, whoever it is. But you know what? You can serve yourself really well by taking an extra lap around the restaurant and just filming things that might not seem important, but that are. I'll give you a few examples. If we do a Pizza of the Month video, we try to incorporate, we always film a Pizza of the Month. We have a great Pizza of the Month video program. And we'll try to do a shot with, like if there's a signature ingredient, say it's a special sausage or something we brought in, we'll try to get the chef doing some knife cuts through like a bias knife cut through the sausage. Or we'll try to get a hand tossing of the dough, that we can incorporate into the start of that video to draw the viewer in, So those are just some examples. Maybe it's a real tight shot in on the fire in the oven. We're an open fire concept. And so those are the types of things that we try to do. That's called B-roll. So your A-roll is your main subject. B-roll is all the other stuff that helps to fill out and round out the piece, okay? All right, so shoot the scenes that you need several times. This isn't necessary, especially if someone just absolutely kills it. I'll give you an example. When I do the audio with our founder, I record our founder doing things like on-hold messaging. I really like him to be the voice of our business. He's just got an identifiable voice. It really kind of ties in nicely to our brand. And so whenever possible, I try to really utilize his voice. And so I'll call them into my office and I'll say, all right, we got the sound stuff set up. I've got like a script taped up, on his side of the desk. I've got my headphones on. I'm like, right, just do this. I'm anticipating that we'll need to do it 3-4 times. He reads it one time through, says, are we done here? And he gets up and he walks out. And it's like, yeah, we're done. And thankfully, every time we are, guy kills it every time, so it's great. But that might not always be the case. And so what you can do is if you shoot a scene several times or if you record audio several times, you can splice and pick and pull the best pieces of what you shot and put them together. That's called post-production. We'll get into that in a moment. All right. Oh, by the way, that's a drone, right? So another way to get some amazing B-roll. It's hard to imagine too great of a use of one of those inside of the restaurant. I've used one inside of a craft brewery before for a side project I was working on, and that was fun. The thing was flying, following us through the big beer tanks, and it ended up being like this really cool cinematic shot, but it was really high ceiling, and these guys, which are just like, pro pilots, but I wouldn't fly it in our restaurant, let's put it that way. All right, so quality audio, moving on. Here's the thing that you need to consider just before you even film the piece. Is this piece going to have music in it? Is it going to have narration, so someone speaking, or is it going to have both potentially? So if it's music, you don't need to worry about any of the background noise. Like if I'm filming out there on the expo floor, for example, and there's just hustle bustle, noise everywhere, and I'm going to play a song, it doesn't matter because I'm just going to kill the audio track on the video when I'm in post-production. I'm going to add the track that I want to add. No problem. We don't hear any of the hustle bustle. So it's not a problem. You don't need to give any thought to your background noise. If it's narration, you got to have the audio recording equipment will be required, and you've got to give a ton of thought to background noise. You got to think, okay, so I often shoot inside of my office if I'm going to do if I'm doing an interview with myself, for example, which I did recently. I've got there's people walking by my office. I've got the door shut. I've got to kind of time it right when they're not walking by. So we don't have like a sound studio, So, but you got to give a lot of thought because these microphone cameras, camera microphones can pick up sounds that we can't even detect. So especially in your restaurant. You might think that it's quiet every day. Oh, we got the music turned off or whatever. And then you film and you go back and listen to it and there was something going on with a piece of your equipment. It's like ticking and there's this high pitched thing going on and this low hum over here. And it's not detectable to our ears, but now you play it back and now it's there. And here's the reason why that's important. It's distracting. It's distracting for the viewer. So the whole idea, without going even any further, let me just tell you that the whole idea behind video is to invite the viewer onto your side of the screen. You want to pull them through this screen that they're looking at into your world, like into your pizza, into your restaurant, whatever that is. And if you've got humming going on, or if you've got shaky cameras, or whatever it is, you've now put them back onto their side of the screen, and it's very obvious, hey, I'm watching this through a screen, there's hissing, there's weird stuff going on. So the whole idea is if you can eliminate as much of that as possible, any distracting qualities, movement, bad lighting, bad audio, then you've won the battle. And if you've got engaging footage and engaging music and engaging story, you can pull them into your video, all right? If it's both, the music track will need to be at a level to where you can hear the voiceover. Effective technique for that is obviously just to lower the music volume when there's a speaking part and then pulling the music volume back up after the speaking's over. I see that done well all the time. Another thing about music is that there's copyright issues, and especially with regards to our business. I think that we're in an industry that is sort of ripe for the picking when it comes to being targeted for different types of just litigation and liability. And so you just really got to be careful that you're not putting yourself in a position to be liable for something like just stealing someone's music, We've used non-copyrighted music in the past on different things. If we're going to do it, we'll do it on something that's employee-facing and perhaps not customer-facing. So say an internal training video or something like that, where we don't have to worry about this thing getting out there, the artist seeing that it's out there, feeling like they should have been paid for that, and that's that. Also, there's been times where we wanted to use a track from an artist, and we've approached that artist and said, hey, we'd really like to use this track. Like, what can we do here? And we were actually able, with the local artist, to facilitate a trade. And they came in and they accepted some gift cards to our restaurant, and that was just a trade for us to be able to use their song in a video. It doesn't always work out that way. And so what we try to do now, we try to use royalty-free music. And so royalty-free music is not free music. It's music that is free from royalty. So you don't need to pay the producer of that track to use the track. What you do need to do oftentimes is you need to give them credit for the fact that it's their song that is being used in your video. If you put that on YouTube, for example, that would go in, when you build out the video and you'd put the comment of here's what this video is about, you'd say music credit, and you just paste in the information that they'd want you to paste in. This is what I do almost exclusively with a lot of our videos. There's a lot of high quality royalty-free audio being produced out and about. A couple of resources for you guys to be able to look at for this is Envato. They have a service called Audio Jungle, and I believe the website is audiojungle.net. So you can look for royalty-free music that is just all sorts of different genres, so motivational. I mean, they have some really weird tags that you search by, like corporate motivational, and it would be exactly what you'd expect it to be, like something probably not what you want to use in one of your videos. But point being is that there's also some gems in there. I found that the best resource is on SoundCloud, which is what that orange icon is there. And there's a lot of artists that are willing to produce royalty-free music and put it out on their SoundCloud page. And so we've found a treasure trove of music on SoundCloud. What I will tell you is that this is one of the most difficult pieces of video production, is finding the right track to fit your video. Because not only does it have to be something that's not going to get you in hot water, but it's got to be something that sounds awesome. So it's got to meet a couple of those tests. And then it's got to match like the content that you're trying to film. It's got to be something that's engaging. It's got to be something that's not going to detour part of the audience, etc. And so there it is. Music style should match the video content. And it's even better if the music is synced with the video. If the music, like the beats, the transitions, are hitting on your video transitions, that's very powerful. That does a lot to draw the viewer into your side of the screen. Okay, I'm going to show you an example. This will be the first example I show. And so bear with me as I try to do this. Attempt to do this. So. Uh-oh. All right, well, you can't hear it, and I'm really glad for that because this is the part where I start rapping, and it just gets really weird. But anyways, yeah, I would have liked to hear heard the part before I started rapping a little more, though. I thought we had the audio pretty dialed in before you guys came in. Is it just coming out of that? Yeah, the projector, yeah. Okay. Well, that's a bummer. But could you hear it back there at all? Could you hear it like just a little bit? Do you recognize that song? Yeah. Right. Okay, so obviously that's like a recording artist song. And what I did, and what, haven't been called out for yet, is I got the non-lyrical, just the audio track version, with the exception of that chorus. And I, in all my glory, wrote and rapped a rap over top of it. And yeah, maybe that was enough to keep us out of hot water. It certainly wasn't enough to keep me out of embarrassment. But anyway, it was a fun video. We usually take quite a few people down to the show. We have anywhere from, usually we have at least 30 people down here at the show. It's a great opportunity to reward and build some bonding with our teams. That was taken a few years ago on the Strip, and that was shot by that company here, Just You Guys Creative. And the whole idea was to just capture us having a good time, you know, and that's not the type of video that we usually do. What I was hoping that you might hear there, though, was the types of transitions, and to see how the video was really rapidly transitioning with the music, which is, you know, frankly, it's even beyond my ability to do those types of edits. They're really quick and fast and time-consuming. Okay, that's time-consuming editing. But those guys are pros, and they know how to do it fast. But engaging, nonetheless. If we see an audio guy, I'll flag him down so we can hopefully get that fixed. When you walked into the room, did you guys see the video that was just kind of on feed with no volume? And, you know, some of that was video and some of that was slideshow, but I produce all of it in our video software. And what we do with that is those go on the TV screens in the entryway and strategically placed throughout our stores. And so as people are sitting there, we have this kind of captive audience. So we dedicate a few of our screens to our own kind of internal advertisement reel, you know, and we're just putting out the stuff. We put a new one of those out every month, has our pizza of the month on there, has any kind of promotions that we would want to have that month displayed to the customer. And oftentimes it has some reoccurring kind of like save room for dessert, that type of stuff. But if it's new and it's fresh, we want it on that video reel so that we can get customer eyes on it. Those have been really effective for us. Okay, so apologies about the audio. So quality voice audio can make or break your video. If you're live recording on a camera, the goal is to minimize background noise and amplify subject noise. This right here is a great way to do that. It's called lavalier mic. And there's a couple of ways to do lav mics. One of them is through wireless transmission, okay? Because ultimately, if my camera is over there and it's filming me, and I'm here with the microphone, somehow I've got to get this audio synced up with that video, right? A couple of ways to do that. Either A, you can have a wireless transmitter, which is what is in my back pocket currently, and it is transmitting somewhere into some device over there. They're recording me right now. And that's synced up. That's going to be synced up. But oftentimes those are expensive and the batteries run out and everything like that. What we use is we just use one of these lav mics and we plug it right into the phone that stays in our pocket. And then we take that video or that audio track and we take our video track and we bring them into the post-production software, which I'll get to in a moment, and we line them up. And so now you've got your audio track and your video track lined up, you sync them together, and then any edits you make from that point forward, they're just married together. By the way, just in case you didn't know, that's what I usually bring one because it's a fun prop, but I didn't this year. That's what those clapboards are for, with the black and white signs on them. So when you see the clap, when you see the thing hit the thing, and when you hear it happen on the audio track, and when you see it happen on the video track, you know that's where the alignment's supposed to be. That's how you align your two tracks, and that's where you sync them, and then you can edit from that point forward. And plus, they're just kind of fun. So there's that. Okay. So recording voiceover off camera, the idea here is that this is your opportunity to have the voice be crystal clear. I talked about our founder doing some audio, yeah, we have them in my room. I've even taken steps to build like a little mini studio out of like a box, and I've padded it with pillows rather, and have the microphone coming through that. He's like got his head into this pillow. But some other things that you can do is you can use a windscreen or a pop filter. I showed the pillow box there. That circular device there is called a pop filter, and this will take out a lot of the popping noises, like on a P or maybe like on an S or something like that. It'll take a lot of that out to where you're not worried about it having some really strong hits on the audio. These are all things that can distract someone as they're watching your video. So you've got a digital recording software. If you're recording someone for this type of narration, it's got to be coming into some sort of software that you can use to record that. We use GarageBand. GarageBand comes free on Macs, and it also is an app on your phone. We use both. If we're doing the lav mic and we're plugging into the phone, we're using GarageBand on an app. If we're recording the founder in my office on a Mac, then I'm doing it straight into the GarageBand software. It's super simple to use. The software is really pretty user-friendly. So there's the app version right there. Kind of small to see if that's just a phone grab from it. And then here's what the digital workspace looks like on your computer. You've just got your audio track right there. It's a male vocal. You can layer different ones. You can start to, it's like building a video, but just with audio. So it's it's been a great software for us. All right, now we're hopping into editing. So now we're into video production, all right? You're gonna need software for this. But the good news is that there's free software out there and it's fine, especially for what a lot of us are doing. Now, if you wanted to do some of that really intricate, fast transition stuff, you're gonna have a hard time doing that with a lot of the free software that's out there. But if you want to just get some nice blends and just get some videos started, this is a great place to start. Windows Movie Maker is an example. I even saw that on YouTube they've got some free video editing capabilities right on YouTube if you're just looking to do some quick, simple, down and dirty cuts. PCs used to come installed with Windows Movie Maker. I don't think that they do anymore. You might still be able to download it, but this is what we used when we were first getting started with a lot of our training videos, was just the free Windows Movie Maker. Some cameras have some proprietary software that they come with that you can use, which is fine. And these will all do the trick as long as you film with intention, as long as you film with the lighting intention, the sound intention, all of that. None of this free software is going to make or break your video, okay? Here's an example of the timeline of one of our chefs, Ben Reyes. And you can see that I've drug in a couple of video clips here. I could blend those if I wanted to. You could have a whole bunch of them. I could add audio tracks under there. So that was the Windows Movie Maker. For a free software, it was pretty sweet. And I don't know if Windows just got wise to that. Now they've got some other software they're trying to charge people for, but for free software, that one was pretty good. Now, paid software is best, right? I mean, you're paying for something. You're paying for something good. We use Cyberlink PowerDirector 16. It was a $70 investment. And it is a great software. It's user-friendly. It's laid out in the same way that you might expect most Microsoft products to be laid out, with file, edit, different categories across the top with drop-downs. So even if you're just wildly unfamiliar with any kind of editing software, I think you could hop into something like Cyberlink and at least feel your way around and start to really familiarize yourself with a software like that, even if you're novice. And here's the thing: it costs $70. And so, I'm making what I think are some pretty high-quality video productions out of that $70 software. Whereas something like Adobe Premiere, which is the industry standard for PCs for professionals, is much more expensive. I don't have a price tag on it. I can just tell you it's much more expensive. It's also much more complicated. But it does a good job if you know how to use it. Final Cut Pro is the industry standard for Macs, and it is essentially a more robust version of iMovie. This is what Cyberlink PowerDirector looks like. So again, you've got file, edit, things you'd expect to see up there. This is where we've got our different video clips that we're pulling in to make that monthly content reel that I'm showing you at the start of the demo. And then, this is where you'd layer them in and start to do your different transitions, maybe add a title down here. Like this Trailblazer, for example, that's a title down here. And so you start layering different things on top of each other until you like what you've got, and then you produce it. Adobe Premiere is similar to that. You've got your timeline down there where the videos would go. You've got your monitor up here. But there's just all sorts of different stuff. And unless you know how to navigate your way around it, you're probably going to be frustrated and not super stoked on publishing video. So the other thing you need to consider before you really get started is where is this video going to be viewed? Is it going to be viewed on television? Am I doing a television campaign? Am I doing a YouTube campaign? Am I doing a Facebook promotion? These are things you need to know prior to shooting your video, because that's going to determine several things. If it's social media, the most important thing that I can tell you with regards to social media videos is import the video directly to the network that you intend to use it on. So you would never want to take a YouTube video and link it to your Facebook page. The main reason for that is because the user has to click that and it takes them away to YouTube. So think about when you're scrolling your feed, and we all probably scroll the feed, you're scrolling your feed, and all of a sudden a funny video just starts playing, like someone gets smacked with a pizza in the face or something like that. And you're like, well, what's happening here? And you stop. Well, that's because it autoplayed. You would have never stopped on that video if it didn't begin to play and you didn't see that initial thing. You would have just scrolled right past it because, nothing there grabbed you. That's why you want to upload your video directly to Facebook, because that's the only way that it's going to auto-play in the feed, okay? Also, it has a much greater organic reach when you natively upload the video as opposed to linking something from outside of their network. And also, you got to be really careful about how much text is on. You can't boost things on Facebook, whether it's a picture or video with a bunch of text on it. So if you just went to upload your video into Facebook, it's going to, and let's say it's a pizza, like we do our Pizza of the Month video, and what those are is they're demonstration and tutorial videos on how we build the Pizza of the Month. We show how we're making it. Think of those tasty kind of recipes. I'll just show you one real quick. Oh, well, yeah, I'll show you one. You guys want to see one real quick? Okay. So it was right at the start, and fortunately, this one doesn't have this one doesn't have audio because it was on that content reel, unfortunately. But that's actually probably okay.
Does that count for like subtitles too?
It does, and that's kind of what I want to tell you is the best thing you can do is so it's going to go right from this into our Pizza of the Month. And so normally this would have music with it that's synced to the to the pie, building the pie. We take a lot of care to kind of put the right music to it. You'll notice that shot, by the way, it's kind of blown out. Did you see how that cheese is kind of blown out? We weren't super proud of that shot right there. That cheese was washed out, and we just had the exposure too hot on the camera, and sometimes you're up against the gun. We need to get this video out, and we couldn't go refilm it. But these are an example. These have been wildly popular, and they're great to promote, and we get a lot of traction behind our Pizza of the Month series. And it really just highlights, our commitment to quality, a commitment to our process, and kind of educates our customers on what it is that we do, So my point is that when you upload this to Facebook, it's going to grab either, obviously the Pizza of the Month logo stays in the corner. That's small enough to be boostable. But oftentimes there's a lot of text running throughout this video that you saw, like big, Alfredo sauce or whatever it is. Or like this screen, for example, would be way too much to boost. So what we do is you have the option to upload an image of your own, a thumbnail. A custom thumbnail. And so we'll just take the picture that we use for the Pizza of the Month, which we use on all the in-store collateral. We have these table tents that we do the Pizza of the Month on, and we just use that picture to upload that directly. And so now we don't have to worry about can we boost this post or not, because we've just got a photo there. Okay? And then it auto plays anyways, right, as someone scrolls past it. Yes, sir?
You mean they won't boost it if you have text? Is that what you're saying?
If you have too much text. And so I believe it's 20%. If there's 20% text or more on the screen, then it won't go. But the thing is Facebook uses this goofy grid pattern deal. And, even if technically it broke down the pixels and you had less than 20%, maybe it's on, they have 6 squares that make up the screen. And if X amount of those, you do the math, covers 20% of it, then it's out. You can't boost it. And that's really where the power is being able to put some money behind it and get it out to the masses, right? So you want to be able to promote these videos to get some eyeballs on them. Which, by the way, from a social media standpoint, I used to teach a lot on social media down here. Here's the thing: we started on May 1st of 2007 with a MySpace page, and so we were early adopters, and we converted over to Facebook like everybody else, and we worked really hard to build up our social network, really hard. But it kind of doesn't matter anymore, because whether or not you have 1 fan or 10,000 fans, you can still reach 100,000 fans with the same amount of money, right? If you have 10,000 fans or however many fans you have, then there's some things you can do to reach those people organically and things, and that's good, and you want that. So you still want to work towards that, but you're not at this extreme disadvantage by not having this huge fan base, because you can then target your posts, get them out there, and then what happens is if people like your posts, this is just another tip, unrelated to video, but if people like your post, you can go through everyone that's like your post, and if they're not already a fan of your page, just go invite, go down the list and get all those people liking your page, because there's the opportunity to reach people more organically with content, okay? I saw a hand back there. Yes, sir?
You found a sweet spot for how long your videos are?
Yeah. I have definitely under 3 minutes, maximum under 3 minutes.
No one has an attention span anymore, so.
Zero attention span. And so we do those Pizza of the Month videos. Our target is 1 minute in length, total length. And so that's why we use a high speed process. It's the same reason why if you're watching those tasty videos online or whatever, they're going fast, right? Because they know that attention span's a thing. We don't got a lot of time, and you can kind of get that whole video process, bless you, in a short amount of time with the high speed sped up film. Plus it's just kind of engaging. But yeah, so 1 minute is our target for those Pizza of the Month videos. If we're going to do something a little bit more in depth, we had a video that we did with our cheese provider, and they did a video for us, and that video ended up being like 5 minutes long. And we didn't produce that video, they did, but it was the type of piece that kind of told our story, and it was kind of a powerful piece. You can't do that in a minute. You can't do that in 3 minutes. It required 5 minutes, and maybe people will watch it, maybe they won't, but it's out there, and it's a good video, and it's just one of those ones that we can keep on our website, and people can see, and we can be proud of. Yeah.
Do you reshoot for like different platforms, or do you have like an opinion on like landscape videos versus like square videos?
Well, we definitely use landscape videos. The reason why you'd want to use like a portrait style video would be like, for example, IGTV or something like that. If you're going to start doing a lot with Instagram television, which we have not dabbled in that, but for what it's worth, that Cyberlink software that we use has the ability to shoot in, or edit rather, video that's been shot in portrait mode. And so I think that's really relevant. But you know, when you're on Facebook and you're scrolling and it's a landscape 16:9 aspect ratio, what happens is it starts playing, and if someone's interested in it, they're just going to flip their phone like that. It'll now take up the whole screen, and now they're engaged, you know. So, all right, any more questions while we're here? Yeah.
Do you find that this industry is still utilizing Facebook?
I do. And Instagram is a much better network for our industry with regards to how visual it is and how much you can appeal to the masses with what you actually do. And not to mention, you don't need to break through as much clutter. Facebook is full of so much garbage that you have to really be able to break through the clutter. That being said, it's still the network where the masses are. Now it's changing. I mean, it's changing, but it is still where the masses are, and it has the best advertisement component to it for us to be able to identify target segment. And here's the thing: obviously, they're owned by the same company. You can then set up the same promotion for no more dollars to be visible on Instagram as well, and that's what we do. We just cross promote the same videos on both platforms. And you know, once it's done on Instagram, it's done. Like, people can never find it again. It doesn't live on your videos, your photos, which is kind of neat. So it kind of runs in tandem. We'll always put like the volume for the videos died. I don't know what happened. It's only coming out of the projector. You want me to throw one on?
That's a laptop setting.
It is?
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
So what do I do? I want to show these people a thing. Do you guys want to hang with me for just a second? Okay. So, and we can just take a couple questions real quick if you want to just help me out. That's awesome.
So
See what I can do.
If you cross promote that on Instagram, do you not lose quality because it's shot landscape, or does it?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Instagram allows 16:9.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does. Yeah.
Got rid of the 1x1 rule.
Yeah.
Now,
And you can, like, even with your photos, you can pinch them down, do different things. So, yeah, no, it works good. And we get a lot of additional views there. But again, the majority of our views are coming on Facebook, far and away. Are we good? No?
What do you want to show?
Huh?
Let's make sure it works.
Okay, let's do it. All right, guys, so let's just try one out real quick. I'll show you one. This one's one of our founder that I was talking about the narration. So I just kind of want you to hear the narration.
The Northwest, a region rich with beauty and character. Long before founding Pirelli's in 1995, my father told me that the hard-working people of the Northwest were hungry. They wanted food that tasted good and filled them up. At Pirelli's, we've been nourishing the families and friends in our neighborhood with artisan pizza for 20 years. This is pizza made for Northwest people by Northwest people. We call this Northwest Pizza.
So hopefully a couple things you got out of that. One was that the founder's voice was nice and clear, had some good tone to it. The music was playing with it. They were matched at a level to where neither one of them was distracting from the other. Good imagery. nothing too distracting about that. Just kind of pulling you in from all angles, hopefully, bringing you into our world, Northwest Pizza. And here's another thing, and I mentioned this the other day, but we could have just as easily put that on a billboard or something. Pirelli's Pizza, Northwest Pizza, whatever. And there was ad agencies that were trying to get us to put that on a billboard. That's why I bring that up. No one's ever heard of Northwest Pizza before. That's not a thing that existed before we said that. And so it required that we tell the story. It required that we had told people what Northwest style pizza is, because no one's ever seen or heard of it before. So we got to tell them what it is. And, that's the power of video. That's the power of videos. You can tell a story. You can do it quickly. You can engage people. You can get them to understand what it is you're saying. And that's the opportunity that we all have in this industry with video. Okay, back to this. I'm glad we got the audio fixed. I can show a couple more videos. Anybody know how much time we have? 10 minutes? Okay, thank you. 12 minutes. All right, how about that? So publishing, we're almost done. Where is this video going to be produced? Social media, natively. Won't be able to boost them with too much text. Use a thumbnail photo. In-house video display screens. All right, well, think TVs are 1920 by 1080. So just make sure you're exporting at those settings, HD 1920 by 1080. Yes, sir.
Before you get too far ahead, I just wanted to share something that I found in regards to that boosting of Facebook videos with text. As you were saying, it has that grid that knocks them out.
Yeah.
I found a little glitch that if you set it up for your very first frame of your video, it doesn't have text in it, you can sneak it by.
Because it's looking for, and that's, great point. If you don't upload a thumbnail, it's going to just grab a thumbnail from your video. But if your first thing has text in it, like oftentimes on those Pizza of the Months, we're just bringing in a title right away, and then it's going to grab that one and we're going to have text. So what we have to do is, just to be safe, every time we just upload our own thumbnail. Plus, we find that our pictures are beautiful, so it's like, yeah, why not? We'll just throw that up there. And what we do too a lot of times is we'll actually take that photo. We got a graphic designer, and we'll just throw our little Pizza of the Month logo down on there as well. And it's small enough to where it's not going to get flagged by Facebook either. But yeah, great hack. That's great. So in-house video display screens, just think full HD. By the way, that screen the video I was showing when you guys were walking in, it's rolling on a loop. And so you think, okay, well maybe that's just on a thumb drive and you just stick the thumb drive into the side of the TV, right? Wrong. Because what's going to happen there is it's going to stop. It's going to get to the end of the video and it's going to stop. If you want that thing to loop and you don't want Susie hitting play every 3 seconds, or 15 minutes in this case, you got to buy one of these things. It's just called a HDMI media player on Amazon. This one's $30. That's about what they all cost. They look like that. And what it does is it plugs into the HDMI on your TV, and then you plug your dongle right into that, and then it just loops your content. I should have told that guy about the feedback. Dang it. You guys got to remind me of this stuff. Yes, sir.
So this is what you were saying when you said you had like a TV, like a group of TVs in your place playing a specific advertisement.
Correct. We do. Yeah, and here's what I do is that every month when I get done editing my monthly video reel, I just send out a link to a cloud shared file because they're huge files, right? So I send out a cloud link to all of our managers and I say, all right, put this on delete the old file, put this one on there, plug it back in, hit play, and then it's good for the month. It's just rotating. Okay, now here's the thing. If you're going to do a television campaign, and we have, that Northwest Pizza was an example of a television commercials we did, they're going to have some very specific settings that they want you to do, different frame rates, different video formats that they're going to want it exported in, and all of that. So before you even film, it's best to just really dive into what those settings are, just so that you know ahead of time, hey, am I going to be able to do that? And it goes without saying that if you're doing a TV spot, it's obviously going to be a very specific length of time as well. You're probably buying a 15 or a 30-second spot. And so, you really got to be mindful of that when you're editing your video down to its final file. So live video is kind of the last thing that I wanted to touch on, and I'm happy to show videos, take questions after this, but live video is becoming huge. It's becoming huge for a couple of reasons. One is that people spend 3 times longer watching a live social video than one that's just a posted video like the ones that we do. So that's a pretty big deal. If you follow guys like Scott Wiener, for example. Anybody know Scott? Raise your hand. Okay, yeah, great guy. And he does a lot of great social content. And one of the things that he does a really good job of, especially on IG, is live video. And man, I'll watch all that. I'll just sit there and I'll just watch it. You know, I just find myself getting sucked in. Like, oh, where's he at today? Oh, he's with, you know, check this out. Look, what are they making? And then I'm drooling, you know. That's kind of the opportunity that exists for us as well with live video. It doesn't need to be as polished. There's no editing happening. It's live. It's happening on your phone. It's happening in the moment. So it's not going to be as polished. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't give some thought to stability. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't give some thought to the sound, the ambient noise, the lighting, etc. Is this backlit? Are people even going to be able to see me? You can still improve the quality of your live videos. Even though they don't need to be polished, you know, just give some thought to the users and who's going to be viewing it, and if they're going to continue past the 3 times longer amount, are they going to stay with you to the end of your video? That's really the crucial piece, right? All right. So where do you go? You know, what do you do on a live video? Well, you could broadcast from an event. You could broadcast from here. Hey, we're walking around the show floor. Check this out. You know, we're down here representing. We're getting ideas for our pizza place. We're so stoked to come back and show you guys what we learned. What a cool event, you know. Pizza Today does this right. And you know, you show your viewers that you're invested in learning. You're a learning organization. You're going to take back some cool stuff you've learned here, incorporate it at your pizzeria. New stuff coming. Stay tuned. Boom. That's a great little 2-minute live video that you could do here at the show. Every one of us could do that now. Like today, we could do that. All right. But you can inform guests about a new promotion that's coming up. Hey guys, you're not going to want to miss the sneak preview. We're making the pizza of the month right now. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's going to be awesome. Look, it has these toppings. That's it. That's all I'm going to show you. Boom. That's it. Live video. You know, those are the types of things you can do with live video and have some fun with it. All right. So where are you going to go live though? Where do you go live? Well, Instagram and Facebook are the best 2 places to go live. You can go live on YouTube, but the reality is not a ton of people have a ton of YouTube followers. So if you go live, it's only your followers that are going to hear about it. So best place to go live is somewhere like Facebook or Instagram. You got more followers there. They're the ones that get notified that you are live, and then they watch your video. And then what's really cool about live videos, it sticks around. It then lands back on your profile, especially on Facebook, so people can watch it later. And that's where the majority of people watch it. Not everybody's just going to stop what they're doing and watch it in real time. Okay. All right, so in conclusion, if cauliflower can somehow become a pizza, you, my friends, can do anything. I just felt the need to put that in there because I like it. It's literally my email signature. I love it. And so here it is. So 90% of users state that videos are helpful in making purchase decisions. That's a lot of people. 64% are more likely to purchase a product online after watching a video. So what are you guys waiting for? What am I waiting for? We should just stop what we're doing and make videos. Just remember, you have to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. You don't just have to jump into having polished videos. You know, you got to start somewhere and learn along the way. Don't let your lack of video experience stop you, because you can't afford to wait. And so start now. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you.